Greetings, my fellow scholars of the livestream! I'm FFVII from the Cosmo Canyon Observatory, and in today's analysis, we'll go through the rest of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer shown at the Game Awards 2019. Most of you have probably already heard, but in case you haven't, here's the latest sad news for everyone looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm afraid I have to tell you that it has been, in fact, cancelled. They lost all the files and backups in a stupid company internal accident and decided to release the leaked demo on January 31st to console us for our loss. Press F for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Nah, it has just been delayed to April 10th, 2020. Only 5 weeks and 3 days longer to avoid spoilers, but also 5 weeks and 3 days more time for analysis videos. Always look at the bright side of the live stream. And without further delays, let's get to work. This first scene should be quite familiar. Here, Cloud jumps from somewhere towards the pipe which he's hanging from and moving along in the State of Play trailer. Where exactly is this scene located? In the back, we see the exit/entrance balcony above with the long ladder down to the first walkway along the walls as seen in numerous demo footage. The platform just below, which we can reach using this small staircase, is comprised of a rectangular platform held in place by ropes affixed to the ceiling and a side walkway running along the above one. As it ends, a ladder leads down to a platform below, which can be seen in both this trailer and the scene in the State of Play trailer. In the demo, that ladder is blocked off by construction tape, however. With this in mind, let's further investigate the situation. When the Scorpion Sentinel goes nuts before falling into the Mako basin to finally explode, it cuts through several parts of this room with its tail laser. Remnants of 2 lines, the first and the third, can be seen here in the scene with Cloud's jump. Especially the diagonal one fits perfectly because we see the same light arrays, vent outlets and platforms. Just before Cloud grabs onto the pipe, we get a good view on the aforementioned side path with the blocked off ladder. It looks like the whole rectangular platform has fallen off due to the suspension ropes being cut by the tail laser. We can even see it dangling vertically in the State of Play trailer to the right. In the last frame of this scene, we see the same flame again, also visible in the State of Play trailer, and a better view on the ladder. Here, it's also evident that the pipe Cloud is clinging to has fallen onto the right portion of the walkway, most likely from the ceiling, and helped to destroy the rectangular platform. It can't be the pipe we see during our descent, as that one's bigger, besides the walkway, and has no beam to cling onto. Now, with the help of the direction Cloud is moving into in the State of Play trailer, and the other still untouched platforms and walkways in this room, I can describe to you with high certainty the way we're taking during our escape. After moving along the pipe to the left, we drop down to the platform below, which has been cleaned out due to the destruction. From there, we'll run over to the platform on the other wall, climb up to a higher platform and take the ladder there to yet another platform slightly above the balcony by the exit, requiring one last jump to reach. I'm pretty sure we can't go into the other direction, as the dangling platform on the right in the State of Play trailer surely prevents us from getting any substantial footing. What I'm not certain about yet is where Cloud is jumping from. He's capable of jumping quite the distance as seen in the newly added scene with Jessie happening just before the reactor explodes. I'm pretty sure the ladder leading up to the now gone platform has also crumbled away, leaving Cloud no other choice than to use his soldier strength to get up there. In any case, I wonder where Jessie got her leg stuck. According to the Tokyo Game Show demonstration and the first mid-battle cutscene against the Scorpion Sentinel, Jessie was waiting for them and watching the battle from this very platform, which is missing now. The Materia scene in the E3 2019 trailer suggests that Cloud will save her life at some point.
You can have it, for saving my life.
Which is probably shortly after this scene here. The following scenes also have never been shown before and depict their escape from the reactor itself to the T-junction connecting the Sector 1 and 8 plates to the reactor entrance. When we compare this scene to the original version, it's serendipitously very accurate. Biggs in the front, with Barrett and Jessie following closely and Cloud trailing behind. In one frame, we're even able to see Wedge waiting for them on the right, keeping the door to Sector 8 clear. One difference to the original is that Barrett seems to be bent on overtaking Biggs, as he's not just running in a straight line, but actually making an overtaking maneuver, twisting his torso as to not bump into Jessie or Biggs with this massive frame. The way his orientation changes from one frame to the other suggests that this is not a motion-acted scene, but uses predefined and running and dodging animations instead, while the characters are running along a predefined path. There's not much to say about the background besides all the awesome details, steam, and small explosions due to the chain reaction caused by the damage from the Scorpion Sentinel's tail laser and the battle itself. I also love how debris is scattered over the walkway close to the explosion and the walkway itself got bent in places. While this area looks very similar to the one where we fight Airbuster in the E3 trailer, we're at the exact opposite end of the rotting pizza that is Midgar. Here, we see the Shinra HQ tower from behind, while we're looking at its front during the Airbuster boss battle, which takes place between sectors 4 and 5. This scene with Cloud and Jessie is a completely new one. In the original, Jessie trips, falls to the ground, and Cloud has to help her again. It feels like Jessie is rather incompetent and clumsy outside of her technical expertise. The remake changes that by putting Cloud into a bad situation instead.
Okay, that was pretty cool.
What's interesting here is the parallel to the scene in front of Reactor number 5 after defeating Airbuster. There, Cloud is also about to fall to his apparent death, and like Jessie here, Tifa also calls out Cloud by his name from a similar position. Unlike at Reactor number 5, Cloud manages to jump back up with ease, 3-point landing included, impressing Jessie even more, prompting her compliment and appreciation to Cloud. While this scene most likely acts as foreshadowing for what is going to happen at Reactor number 5, it also sets up expectations for the situation to come. With this, newcomers are conditioned to thinking that Cloud is able to avert falling victim to any similar situation, which makes his eventual fall in Sector 5 even more shocking and unexpected for those not already in the know. They might even throw in a curveball for us fans. Cloud might be injured or otherwise handicapped for another super jump. Cloud's reaction to Jessie's compliment puts the excellent facial expressions on display again, which tell their own story without the need for words. First, his stoic face changes into a slight cocky smile, saying, "I know I'm awesome," which changes into a blush right after when he averts his gaze. This again shows both sides of Cloud, of which only one he is consciously aware of, with the other seeping through in certain situations. That's it for the scene, but there are still a few things to talk about. Close to the door ahead, the walkway and railings are also bent out of shape before the big pipe even hits. Speaking of, it looks like one of the white pipes in the background seen in the previous shot is the one crashing onto the path between Cloud and Jessie, almost telling them they're not meant for each other. Anyway, Jessie makes it across the seam, where the bridge breaks off while Cloud isn't as lucky. Without the support of the other side, it also breaks off near the middle, taking Cloud down with it. If it wasn't for the soldier treatment he received around 5 years prior, the following superhuman jump wouldn't have been possible. Nice wind up though. While it does look like he's jumping off a pipe due to the different velocity before and after the cut, we don't actually see Cloud landing and jumping off again due to how the trailer is cut, though he most likely uses that pipe as a platform. During his jump, we also see that the other two segments of this T-junction fall down as well, spouting sparks everywhere. Speaking of, it's a nice detail that the sparks from the surrounding fires are flying around like fireflies. It feels almost romantic. They sure are playing up the interactions between Cloud and Jessie. Next, we're shown this very short but new scene of the bomb exploding and with it, the reactor core pump. The original game never showed this, only the explosion of the reactor itself from the outside. We're probably going to see this bit between the timer reaching 0 and the crumbling ceiling, both contained within the State of Play trailer. In case you haven't noticed yet, this contraption here is the same one we see at the back wall in the reactor core hall, where the boss battle against the Scorpion Sentinel starts. Numerous pipes and Shinra logo, as well as the floor below, should be evidence enough. And just for the record, this is still rendered in-game, unlike the following scene. Now follows the second pre-rendered cutscene we've seen so far after the intro cinematic, and it looks awesome! This scene shows the beginning of the reactor explosion visible from the outside from a pedestrian's perspective, which feels pretty horrifying when you think about it. 3 of the 4 visible residents even start walking backwards, away from the impending doom. Despite the severity of the situation, the explosion itself looks really good, crawling its way up to the top, where it will probably blow the lid off, sending debris everywhere, as we've seen in previous footage. Even though it's almost bursting with details, Like the detailed buildings, balconies, fire escapes, street lamps and powerline masts, there aren't many worth noting, so let's focus on a few interesting ones. There are two signs we've already seen in the past, specifically in the PSX 2015 trailer, and those are the speed limit 30 sign and the Sector 8 street sign, which has been expanded a little. It says Sector 8 instead of just 8th, and contains a few more green text lines. Further back, there's this building with a rounded corner possibly harboring a bar labeled with a green sign above, spelling its name in golden letters. Unfortunately, we can only make out a small part of it, namely TOR, which probably spells out sector. Sector 8 Cafe? Above the same building, a billboard for live music has been put up. This is not the first instance of this ad, however, as it's also present among the 7 ads in the train Avalanche is taking to reach the Sector 5 reactor. The white text on the left side reads, "Every Friday and Saturday from 8 PM to 11 PM, jazz, rock, blues." And in this one frame where there's the least blur, we can also make out the red-pink vertical neon sign, which reads Sports Bar. While the R is missing here, it's recognizable a few frames earlier. The horizontal overhead strut above the road holds several signs including the speed limit 1. The same setup can be found during the midcar zoom-out scene from E3. It bears the same 2 green signs, contains the same LED signs displaying arrows moving downward and even the white speed limit sign. However, it's far away from this road's position as we'll see shortly. The smaller green sign reads "Watch for oncoming traffic", implying there's no lane divider on the road, like on Loveless Street. The comparison street in the midcar zoom footage, on the other hand, does contain lane dividers. Anyway, the big sign displays direction to Sector 7, Mako Reactor 1, which is practically in front of us, and the central gate, which might lead to the Shinra HQ building. The road we are currently looking from bears number 11. That's the 5th numbered street so far, as the E3 2015 reveal teaser showed number 12 to 7th gate, number 17 to Con, number 4 to Junon, and lastly number 3 to Central Gate, which is written in the same kanji in both instances. Continuity still seems to hold up. Alright, let's now try to find out where this street is located. To save you some time, I have started many attempts to clearly pinpoint the area we're looking at here, but to no avail. The viewing angle on the reactor is practically the same as during the midcar zoom out, and due to the reactor size, we must be rather close. However, we don't see the highway running along close to the plate gap, unless it's covered by the strut and street signs in the middle. In any case, even if I don't see matching buildings and views, I'm pretty sure we are standing in around this area here. It is also possible that they redesigned the Sector 8 layout in places in the meantime, which is why we can't find matching building patterns. Next up is Cloud's dialogue with Aerith, which happens after the scene from the State of Play trailer.
Look, I'm involved in things. Dangerous things.
He says, while we're shown battles and environmental hazards. But Aerith doesn't care and just replies with
So?
Which prompts Cloud to make an attempt to keep her away from him for her safety.
So keep your distance.
This part seems completely new, as the only thing Cloud tells her is to get out of here because it's dangerous, and then she does so with little resistance. The other dialogue choice prompts her to offer a flower for 1 gil. This has already happened, as Aerith just finished tucking the lily underneath Cloud's left suspender. This flower is also an indicator that the scene with the Guardians of Fate happens after this, as Cloud has the flower stuck in his suspender there as well. The only question is how much more dialogue follows until those specters appear. I really like that she is so unaffected by Cloud's attempt to scare her off, unlike in the original. She grew up in the slums, was avoiding Shinra for a long time, and travels alone up and down the plate to sell her flowers. She's used to all the dangers Midgar can offer. I wonder what prompted Cloud to even make this attempt to scare her off. Did she offer to tag along? Did she ask for help with selling the flowers? Or does he just want to get away from her? In any case, I hope we still get a dialogue choice here, even if it's not the same as in the original. Though I prefer to have the choice to buy the flower or not. Lastly, did you notice Cloud's expression at the end? Especially his quick glance back at Aerith? Looks like he's not too convinced of his own words, feels a bit insecure, and therefore needs to check if she's buying the act. Splendid acting and facial expression, I love it! Before we jump to the last scene in this trailer, I want to point out a few details in the background. Thanks to the different angle and greatly reduced depth of field blur, there's an additional element visible above the ticket counters of the theater. We were wondering what Studio White was meant to represent since E3, but now we finally have the answer. It is the theater's name, and it seems the whole building complex belongs to that theater according to the position of the previously unknown sign further south in the intro cinematic. Maybe because this corner is so intrinsically tied to Aerith and she possesses the white materia. Or is it a nod to Aerith's voice actress, Brianna White? We have already covered the area behind Cloud in Game Analysis episode 11, so please check it out if you're interested, as there's nothing new to mention here. In this extended scene we were introduced to in the Tokyo Game Show 2019 trailer, Cloud and Tifa talk more about the promise made 7 years ago.
You weren't thinking of leaving Midgar anytime soon, were you?
Well, seems this old friend of mine's in a tight spot. Long time ago I made a promise, so...
I'm really glad to have you back, Cloud. Really glad.
While she only asks Cloud to join Avalanche in the original, the remake version makes her question much more personal, letting us know she's personally invested in keeping him around. Her gesture looks pleading and her expression worried but hopeful. After Cloud confirms his continuing presence, Tifa looks very relieved to hear that Cloud won't be going anywhere anytime soon. The scene composition is very nicely done and elevates the spoken lines. In this case, scenes with Tifa and Cloud having each other's backs play out during the term
This old friend of mine
and the word promise lines up with Tifa jumping towards Cloud's helping hand,
made a promise.
referencing the nature of the promise where Cloud would come and save her whenever she's in a bind. This scene could potentially contain another meta commentary, where Cloud represents Square Enix and Tifa the fans. Square Enix made a promise a long time ago, and we, the fans, are really glad that Cloud's finally back. Credit goes again to Soldier First Class for bringing this possible parallel to my attention. We don't see much more of this scene compared to the Tokyo Game Show 2019 footage, at least nothing new to write home about. We do get another view on the Chocobo show poster, the window and bed sheets, but other than that, there are only Tifa's new animations. But wait, isn't that an alternative version of her victory stretch right there? When we compare it to the original game's animation, she starts off with fixing her skirt, goes on to move her hands behind her head, just like in this trailer scene, then finishes off with stretching her arms down behind her back. In this trailer, however, she stretches them down in front of her with the animation order being switched around. Still, I believe they purposefully included an alternative victory stretch pose to emphasize her feeling of victory in keeping Cloud around. She does look very happy here, as do millions of fans around the world in anticipation for the remake's release. And for the last segment in this analysis video, I'd like to talk about a few miscellaneous things I've noticed in the numerous known and new intercut shots. The Mako exhaust eruption looks phenomenal, but extremely inefficient, as if most of the now unusable livestream energy just goes poof into the atmosphere, heavily contributing to the air pollution. We can even see several strands and particles of dying souls around the reactor. Very tragic. I also find the imagery quite intriguing. The Mako exhaust pierces and parts the clouds. Where have you heard that before? Right, the Mako infusion pierced Cloud's body and parted his personality. In any case, I do think we're looking at Mako Reactor number 4 here, as all the other reactors display different looking kanji symbols on the front. This means the little girl in the following shot stands in Sector 4, according to the angle of the reflection. You might have also noticed that we've seen this image before. The E3 2015 reveal teaser contains almost the same shot. While the model, the eyelashes and most textures are the same, the lighting has changed drastically and makes the image feel less overexposed, showing more of her eyebrows. The reflections on the eyeball have also been improved, especially the Mako Reactor image, and her iris looks more bluish and more realistic in my opinion. The camera angle also seems a bit different. I wonder where those scenes will play out. As we're talking about Reactor number 4, it can't be connected to the reactor bombing. Maybe it's part of an extended intro or even a Shinra propaganda video that plays after the escape from Reactor number 1 and Sector 8. After all, I'm certain the Shinra propaganda video, which was shown in the waiting room before entering the demo playing area at conventions and has been leaked in images on Reddit, courtesy to yours truly, will be included in the final game in some fashion. Those two shots might be part of the full propaganda video, I feel. Another interesting sentiment is the hand-grabbing parallel between the new scene from the remake and the ending cinematic from the original game. Here, Cloud reaches for Tifa while she's about to fall to her death, and in the ending cinematic, Tifa reaches for Cloud, who is about to fall into the livestream. Not sure if this was intended, but if so, they're really going all in. The last observation I'd like to share pertains to Aerith. In a series of shots from previous trailers during Cloud's lines about the promise, we see Aerith in Wall Market, Sephiroth in flames in Cloud's first hallucinatory encounter in Sector 8, and Aerith dropping her flower basket. To me, this is very obvious foreshadowing to the tragic event possibly happening in the next installment. To longtime fans at least. Still, I do like this nod to events to come. And with this dark foreshadowing also ends our analysis for today. If you like this kind of content and want to help me increase its quality and grow this channel, you can support me by many means, like the awesome Realbois and Marcus T did on Patreon. Thank you, my friends! And if you haven't already, please check out the 3 screenshot analysis articles I posted on the livestream.net. Links are also in the description down below. Alright, let us know if there are details we've missed, and please don't hesitate to speak your mind, though I implore you to keep the comment section free of any information about the leaks. Thank you for your understanding. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell button to be notified of future uploads, and don't let yourself stop from sharing this video around. That being said, thank you so much for attending this in-depth trailer breakdown, and I hope to see you again in the next episode of Game Analysis. And always remember, stay safe and take care. Visualizat signing off.